Now, just a little warning before we begin. There will be major spoilers in this video for the 6th episode of She-Hulk. So if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want anything ruined, it is a good time to click away. Okay, so Just Jen, episode 6. What did you think?
Just
boring.
Why?
I like when the episode starts by telling you it's going to be a meaningless episode.
That it tells you it's a cliche.
That it tells
the
you,
rando,
yes.
irrelevant wedding episode.
Yeah. With a weird B plot. Like, what was up with the B plot?
There's a B plot and a C plot now.
They're at the very end. We have the...
There's multiple plots. There are plots within plots.
It's so complicated.
The show is so complex and deep.
Yep.
Plots within plots. First off, Jen is a bridemaid to some girl we've never heard of before and who she seems to not really even get along with. At first I thought, oh, she got invited because she's She-Hulk and this girl who knew her once upon a time wants some notoriety. She-Hulk is coming to my wedding.
Yeah.
But no. That's not what she wanted. And Jen should have said, no, thank you. I'm sorry.
Well, she had Titania coming to her wedding too. Like, oh.
Yeah. So Jen shows up as She-Hulk because we're now really getting it driven in that Jen feels better when she is She-Hulk. She feels awesome. She wants to show people that, look at that, she's got everything going on because she's hot.
Yeah. Yep.
So even she has gone shallow on She-Hulk.
Yep.
Because she's trying to tell her friend, look at the stuff I got going on. I'm a lawyer now. I'm a this, but you don't have a man. Okie dokie. Jen, that wouldn't change if you're She-Hulk. You still would have gotten to feel bad because you don't have a man. But by deciding you wanted to go as She-Hulk because that's a wow factor, it almost seemed like she was undercutting the other things that she's got going on in her life. The new job that she worked so hard for,
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
She's a
very complex character. The fact that no one knows what she wants.
She's a very complicated woman.
She doesn't know what she wants.
Yeah. She's torn between, wanting to be Jen and being proud of who Jen is and knowing that everybody loves She-Hulk, right? I guess that's kind of what we're going with here.
But guys don't seem to love She-Hulk. They don't want to date her.
Well, or Jen. Let's be honest. Like, would you really want to date She-Hulk? Isn't that a little just... I'm not trying to be...
Some guys were into that because she is gorgeous as She-Hulk. She was getting dates as She-Hulk. She wasn't getting dates as Jen.
It's one of those things where it's like it would be very awkward to where your girlfriend is, I'm not saying that if somehow this were real that, that it's not sounds horrible or anything, but most people would not want to date somebody who's big and green and is going to draw attention everywhere you go.
Right. They're not looking at the long term. They're looking at the short term.
Sure.
I'm going to date She-Hulk. Woohoo.
Yeah. I'm going to...
Not the long term of having a life with
I'm going to try to marry She-Hulk. And, that's assuming she can't turn back into Jen. Yes, there's complexities here with the character.
Right.
It's just every episode is so kind of sitcom-y and corny and who cares that it's any attempt to do something or to care. Because there was a moment again in this show or this episode where I'm like, oh, that's, with Josh or whatever his name was.
Josh.
And I'm like, oh, this is kind of, it's nice. It was actually not horrible with her interactions with Josh. And, there was a moment where you feel for her when he said, I like you basically as you are. And you're like, oh, this is pretty good. It's not bad right now.
But, haha, that's part of the new plots. He's a plant.
Yeah, he's a plant.
Which I thought that'd be the perfect way to plant someone on her anyway. And I don't know why you don't just take her blood as Jen.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that still work? Why does she...
Well, she got punched in the face, and, in theory, her face should have been just shattered, but I don't know how Hulks exactly work. Because clearly in non-Hulk form, she has the capacity to withstand being punched in the face by a superpowered individual.
Well, she does still have magically enhanced blood.
Sure.
Radiation.
I'm just saying, I don't know exactly how that, can you pierce her skin as Jen, and... does it just heal really quickly? I don't know what the rules are.
Well,
I've never really tried to think
her
about
blood
that.
heals really quickly. That's why another reason why Bruce wanted to destroy it. He used her blood to heal his arm.
Yeah, I'm just saying as Jen, she does take a shot in the face from and tossed 10 feet or 20 feet, whatever it was. So clearly she got hit hard.
Like I said, I don't know why she went to this wedding. Did she not know this girl at all? The fact that she got treated like junk, not only by her friend, her quote air quotes friend, but by the other bridesmaids. Oh,
I'm not
Jen's
really...
here. She'll clean up everything. Oh, Jen's here. She's gonna iron the guy's shirts. Jen doesn't mind walking down the aisle with a tiny dog as her partner. Why invite her if you're gonna treat her like garbage?
I
and
don't
why
know.
Stay?
I'm not sure what the point was of that.
Especially after Titania showed up and everything. Why stay? Just leave. There's no obligation to keep you there if they're gonna treat you like garbage. I don't know.
I'm just not sure.
Self-deprecating Jen.
I'm just not sure what the point of anything of this episode was. Like I said, there was that one moment, and then the B plot with the Mr. Immortal. Like, what the hell is even what? Why?
Yeah.
I'm sure he's gonna come back and play some kind of part later on down the road. You know, like, oh, we need something. Let's use Mr. Immortal. Oh, yes.
I don't even know if they're gonna bother bringing him back. Like I said, he's those little background. Look, we do still do lawyer stuff things. That's all they are.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the nice guy who, screws over women,
And men.
Apparently one of them, yeah.
Yes.
It was, again, like, just so kind of weird on the nose, like, guys think they're really nice, but they want to avoid all conflict with women, and it's like, can we...
The best way to get out of a marriage or out of trouble is to just die.
Yeah.
Because you know you won't die.
I don't know what the show is trying to be or do 99% of the time. It, like I said, it has those moments every now and then where you feel something or you enjoy it for just a brief, fleeting second, and then something else happens where you're just like, this is bad.
Well, and Nikki is not a great friend.
Which one's Nikki?
Her assistant.
Oh, that's her name? I just know her as assistant. Sorry.
No,
I'm not that vested.
She's not really a great friend. When Mallory, the smarter lawyer, is like, hey, don't tell Jen about this hate site. It's going to mess with her psyche. Like, she understands that things get in Jen's head like that, and she doesn't let it go. Like, she's very self-conscious and stuff. What does Nikki do? I'm going to call Jen and leave her a really long voicemail that there are these plots out there and
well, I mean, you shouldn't tell her, but maybe not at this wedding, I guess.
I don't know.
I mean, to me, I'm wondering if this is supposed to be...
Don't tell her till you have an idea or a plan about it.
Is this supposed to be a parallel to kind of the real-world harassment that, quote-unquote, like strong female character actresses get?
Probably.
That's where my mind immediately, unfortunately, jumped to. Like how, of course, anytime we put a strong female character in a show, that must be men cannot handle that and hate them and want to attack them. That's kind of the exact place my mind went.
I'm not even sure at this point Daredevil can save this show.
How would
I'm worried
anybody
he's going to get
save this
sucked
show?
down by this show and turned into this stupid subplot stuff.
Not even Mando could save this show. If he were episode
Mando,
7 and 8,
where were you?
Comes in and, this is the way, and we get Luke shows up and, Ahsoka, and no, even that I'd be like, nah, the show still wasn't good.
Like, and what was Titania thinking? She got beat by Hulk once, physically. Then she got beat at in court, And she's like, I'm going to show up at this wedding of these people I don't really even know at all, and I'm going to bait She-Hulk into another fight.
Yeah, I don't really understand Titania's motivation at all. Like she breaks into a courtroom, which she should have been arrested for and thrown in jail and stuff for, but somehow got out of. And She-Hulk stopped her, and so now she's just obsessed with destroying She-Hulk for that. Even though she should just be
destroying her image. She's an influencer.
Oh, yeah.
And so she needs to beat She-Hulk publicly and humiliate her in order to get her influency power back.
Influencies? I don't know.
She needs to beat She-Hulk so all of her fans can be like, yes, that's right. Titania is
better
the
than
best.
She-Hulk. Awesome.
Yep. Well, and then Jen dealt with all of her problems at the wedding by getting drunk. That is not a solution to problems.
Well,
having a couple drinks to maybe loosen up and not care as much, I guess, is one thing. But she's like, I am going to drink at this wedding so that I make stupid choices.
You do want your characters to have flaw. That's a flaw of a character, right? It's not like the message shouldn't be, Jen got drunk, so that's what you should deal with your problems. No, it shows that she has, she's not perfect, and then she made a mistake. I don't actually have a problem. I get what you're saying, but I don't have a problem with that.
At a wedding, it's...
Well, sure. You
just
should
like
never...
at a wedding, I would have assumed she would understand it was inappropriate to show up as She-Hulk.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you should never try to, upstage
the bride.
Yeah, the bride.
Don't wear white to a wedding.
Yeah, I get that. And, or make a scene. You should be very careful about what you do at somebody's wedding.
I've heard horror stories of people who've proposed at other people's weddings. I'm like, you don't do that.
Well,
you don't do that. You don't propose at anyone else's social occasions. Those are theirs.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we didn't get a post-credit scene again.
Oh, I really missed it.
I thought
maybe some more twerking?
No, I
maybe?
thought I read somewhere that every episode was supposed to have a post-credit scene.
Maybe...
Every episode probably had a twerking post-credit scene.
I was just going to say, maybe they cut some because
this is her twerking as She-Hulk at the wedding. Or she's twerking as Jen and transforms into She-Hulk mid-twerking.
Please don't put these images in my head.
That was what the post-credit scene was going to be. And they're like, well, people didn't react to the twerking so well the first time. Let's cut this one. Yeah, probably a good idea.
Yeah, I could see that being the case where they realize, well, this just isn't going over well, so let's cut our losses and not do another twerk scene.
I thought for sure we were getting Daredevil. Was he going to get one episode?
Yes, he's going to show up eventually. And
we only have, 3 left?
Only 3 left.
Oh, we need more than that to save the show.
There's no...
Daredevil has to save the show. He has to have some reason for me to actually tell people to watch the show.
There's no... I mean, you're
Watch the show. Daredevil's great is what I want to be saying. But if he's only in 3,
There's no reason to want... It doesn't really... So far, it doesn't really have any bearing on the rest of the MCU. It in itself is not...
They haven't shown up yet either. They're supposed to be in this. They were in the trailer.
I guess. I don't know. Like, when the show flat out, like I said, admits that it's going to have a filler episode, like, well, okay. Not that you can't have filler. We seem so, like, against filler episodes when TV used to only be filler episodes, like, not too many years ago. Sitcoms even today are just filler.
I was going to say, being a sitcom,
yeah,
I'm not surprised that it had an episode like this, and it still wasn't strictly filler because we are advancing the plot.
Sure.
We're showing more character-ish from Jen. Making her motives extremely clear about how she feels about She-Hulk, truly. And we're advancing the plot line of, we just need a thicker needle to try to steal the She-Hulk blood.
Yeah, maybe it's vibranium needle. I don't know.
Yes.
Or adamantium.
We know this new relationship won't work. There's no way they're salvaging this. He's a plant. But even if he wasn't a plant, he's a plant. He's going to turn around and be like, but I really do. I fell for you.
I really fell for you, yeah.
Well, then why is she thirsting for Daredevil later? I'm just saying.
Because it's Daredevil? I mean, come on now. That's obvious. I thirst for Daredevil.
Well, I almost don't want it to be the trope of, but I really fell in love with you during that time.
Come on now. Of course it is.
No, that's cheesy.
And nothing else about this show has been cheesy?
No, it hasn't been at all. It's been wonderful to watch. And now I think I need to go pull a She-Hulk and go drink something.
I'm going to run out the window in the next episode. That's how I feel about these shows. I'm kidding, of course, but...
Yeah, don't do that.
No.
That's bad.
I mean, I'd be on the first floor. I'd be fine. Couple cuts and bruises.
Oh, boy.
I'm joking. I'd run upstairs before I do it.
No, you still wouldn't be enough. Why, She-Hulk? All you're doing is showing us that Marvel can't make strong females without making them agonizing.
Isn't that kind of ironic? Like, you took your strongest... outside of Captain Marvel, you took your strongest female character and turned it into a joke series.
This could have been so fantastic if they focused on this inner struggle she's having between being Jen and being She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Between having her regular life and being a superhero.
I agree entirely. Like I said, there are these moments sprinkled in where you actually feel something and you actually like, well, there's a real story here, but you slather on all this stupidity and it's like, or put a B plot in there that I'm like, why? This is like a 10-minute episode, but you had to make it 25 because you put some silly Mr. Immortal thing in there, and it's like, what in the hell are you doing?
No, they should have condensed and maybe not done 9 episodes and focused on her inner turmoil. That would have been interesting to see her struggling with, how am I as Jen? How am I as She-Hulk? How do I balance? What is my life now? What is, how does she live in a world where half the time she's herself and half the time she feels like a stranger? It could have been so cool to see the balance of work versus home, dating with somebody who's struggling with her true self. Nah, let's make it cheesy.
Let's make it silly and cheesy.
And I know her comic is very cheesy and very silly and breaks the fourth wall, and she is kind of a horn dog in her comics. I know all that. But we've adapted and changed so many of the heroes that I think we could have adapted her to fit better. To not do the opposite of what they wanted. I feel like they're making women a laughingstock.
Like I said, it's kind of strange that you have all these, quote unquote issues with strong female characters and what people supposedly think about them. And then you go out of your way to make this really just kind of goofy show out of a very strong female character. It's just, I don't know. I get it. As you point out in the comics, that's, it's a more fun, sure. But maybe you kind of missed the mark here. Which isn't to say, I know there's people who like it and defend it, and that's great. But I think a lot of people are not into this show. Mm-hmm. When, as I keep saying, there's an underlying thing there that works, but you just completely you miss it 99% of the time, or just put meaningless humor in there. It's just meaningless stories, and
like think about it. If her fourth wall breaks, with her confessing to the audience about how she's feeling.
Yeah, instead of telling the audience that this episode's going to suck.
And then, her fourth wall ends and you see her put her veneer back on of, I'm facing the public again. I don't know. I think that could have been neat to have her fourth wall breaks just be very enlightening to the audience.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Her maybe agonizing over the fact that she showed up at this wedding as She-Hulk and the bride just reamed her out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted fourth wall breaking. Maybe I wanted a little bit something different than what is accustomed to the fourth wall breaking. But I think there was potential here to make a really good series by changing up some aspects. They went comedy when comedy was too far. They could still make this funny.
You could still put humor in it, of course.
Absolutely. You could still make this funny. You could still make this sitcom-y, but you could still have a deeper underlying that would attract more people.
Yes.
All right, I'm done with this now. You wrap it up.
Well, that's all we got for you this time. So take to the comments below. Tell us what you thought of this episode of She-Hulk, or what you thought of the series so far. We're now 2/3 of the way done. A painful 1/3 left to go. So take to those comments below. Let's talk some Marvel. And until next time, thanks for watching.